Hi everyone, Crawfy here. Today I will talk about some cheesy 2-com tower tactics. In the end of my previous video, I told you that I found such a tactic on a map called Reforming. I first found this tactic in this replay. Player 95 used this tactic to snatch this com tower early. So 95 used this APC to transport infantry not here, but directly to the com tower that is quite far away. Let's fast forward a few turns. This APC goes here, here, and it drops the infantry in that forest. The enemy infantry is also close to the com tower, but to delay the capture, the enemy infantry had to attack from the shoals. LordFrognaros also made an early mistake, because he dropped the second infantry in the range of enemy artillery. This artillery greatly helps in this cap, because now this com tower can be attacked only from one safe space. So LordFrognaros will divert this infantry to help with stopping that capture. However, it will be too late. This infantry is at 4, and the com tower has 3 points left. This 2 HP infantry can deal only 1 HP of damage, so no matter what, this com tower falls. So there is no point in losing a 2 HP infantry, so LordFrognaros wisely retreats it, and the com tower falls. It's worth noting that 95 didn't capture his com tower yet, but it will soon happen. And in this situation, the good thing to do is to retreat from here, because you won't hold this com tower forever. In those 2 com tower cheesy tactics, it is important to know the point of retreat. You don't want to sacrifice your entire army just to have 2 com towers. But as I will show later, sometimes you can sacrifice a lot and get the value out of it. But in this particular match, this cheesy tactic did not help 95, because he lost the chance to quickly cap this com tower, because it is protected by this artillery that has vision because of this recon. And this side is completely controlled by Sasha, and there is nearly nothing from 95 here. So the economy of 95 is also suffering. He had to sacrifice quite a lot for this cheese. And, well, he holds this com tower until day 14, but it does not matter much, because the opponent has just too strong attacking force. And 95 has to resign. So I used a similar tactic, but not so radical. Instead, I decided to move the APC in such a way to help with my capture phase, and in the same time to enable this 2 com tower cheese. So this is like my canonical opening on Reforming. I go to cap this city, and this infantry is ready to be boosted by this APC, or maybe not boosted but transported. I have 1 turn of delay. 95 capped this com tower on day 6. I will cap it probably on day 7. Let's see. I actually quite like this opening that I made as Cobalt Ice, because it allows this 2-com tower cheese, but it does not slow your economy. So this infantry actually goes to cap the airport, and this infantry already finished this cap and is ready to be transported close to the com tower. So I am not hurt economically. The situation is almost equal in the city count. And my opponent didn't go for a fast com tower. So I move the infantry into the same forest. I don't know if this com tower is being capped or not. So I use the APC to check, and then I start the capture. If there was a capping infantry here, I would attack it with my artillery. So this situation is very good for me. I am already blocking with my APC, and my opponent doesn't know. Oh, now he knows. Now he wanted to drop something here, and he saw that the lander is blocking the square. Fortunately, it's advanced force by web, so you can unload units even after being trapped. I also don't go for this com tower, because it is on my terrain, so I will get it sooner or later. And I start attacking infantry. Infantry is more valuable than a lander in this case, because I want to survive and keep this com tower for as long as I can. Now this is a dubious move. Using that lander just to scout this infantry, I don't know what my opponent wanted to accomplish with this. Look, also this airport is completely very far from being capped. So now there is a lot of infantry, probably some reinforcements on the way, so I decide to evacuate. So I don't lose any unit in this scenario. And the artillery is pointing at the com tower, so it will be hard for my opponent to get it. Those units thwarted my capture attempt. And I wisely don't go to cap this com tower without reinforcements, because I know that there may be some sneaky Ricky in that forest, and then I will get my infantry crippled, and I don't want that. Generally, watching the mistakes of other players in their replays is a very good way to improve your own gameplay. So learning on other mistakes is better and less painful than learning on your own mistakes. So I have already a capped airport, and this airport is still not capped, and this lander is used just to spot this artillery, which is a waste of a lander, really. Now this 3 HP infantry will be used to spot, and it will be also a blocker, so now this artillery cannot escape. And eventually, of course, my opponent will get this com tower. But at what cost? At what cost? So this cap was stopped. I decide to retreat here because I only have one artillery, one recon, one APC that is almost dead, and some infantry. I prefer to keep those units alive. And I start capping the second com tower. I am playing as Javier, so this 2-com tower strategy is much better than if I was playing Von Bolt. And now I place a wall that will be very, very hard to dislodge, and this artillery is locking this property. And here my opponent decided to start capping only after he kills my artillery. So those are more and more turns where I have 2 com towers. Because I get the second com tower on day 12. And now I want to be aggressive, because I know that this situation won't last long, and I want to get as many favorable engagements as possible. Like this one, capping this city is also a good idea, because now this is basically a convoy infantry. And I form a wall, and the wall protects this cap. My opponent has to sack this copter if he wants to interrupt, but he finally starts to cap this com tower. So I have only 1 more turn left, and I will use it well. I am close to my power. So I decide to make some questionable engagements just to have my power super strong. So I attack this. I attack this. I attack this. And I attack this and this, and suddenly just enough for a tower shield. I like in Javier that his power just is here when you need it. You don't have to wait forever like when playing Hawke or Von Bolt. You just get your power and you can shellac your enemy while you have 2 com towers. This is the perfect scenario. And this tank will die, but overall I managed to get a pretty nice income lead. Because I got those city, this city, I am getting this city, I got this city, and now this is a standard situation, 1 com tower versus 1 com tower. This copter is trapped, but overall I am happy because I have an advantage, and now all I need to do is to keep that advantage, and the income difference will do the rest. So now I am not overextending, I am just capping another city, and this is a pretty good attack. However, the only infantry that can capitalize on this attack is this one. And instead of going back to cap, for example, this city, this infantry goes forward just to damage my infantry. This wasn't a good decision, because now this big attack, this big push, does not accomplish anything. I put something just to protect this city, and I attack because I see with my recon that there is no infantry in the vicinity, so I can just harass my opponent's units, losing engagements, but it is enough to just slow down this push until I get some more units there. And my indirect resistance is paying off, because I'm still capping this city despite being under artillery fire. This is also very good in Javier. His power and his indirect resistance are very anti-retaliation. So you can attack with Javier, and then you can pop your power, and your opponent has very limited retaliation options. That's what I like about Javier. I am a Javier main, if you don't know already. And in this situation, I get a bit of unit count advantage. And I see that my opponent centralized all his forces in the middle. So I sneakily take the comp tower again. And that's the end. I used those 3 units to bait the missile. So now I am pretty much uncontested. There is nothing my opponent can do, so he resigns. There is another map where playing as Javier with 2 comp towers is possible and quite satisfying. This map is currently not in the Global League in this form. This is Tornado Road version 1. You can currently play Tornado Road version 2, and here is an error message showing that this map is not in the Advanced Wars by Web database, and that's why I will show you my perfect opening on this map. I am playing as Purple, and I am playing as Javier. My opponent is playing Hawke. So in this map I devised a pretty calculated opening. You have to open with a tank on the bottom side to prevent your opponent from cheesing your comp tower. And here I don't go immediately after that cap for opponent's comp tower, because I know that he may do the same. And in fact, he does. He produces an early tank on the weak side, just to prevent those comp tower shenanigans. So here is my early tank. I go for this city. I am not rushing that comp tower because, well, it can be easily interrupted by this tank, and income is also important. So my opponent probably knew about this tactic and produced this tank just in case, just like me. And with that, I cap and I produce day 5 APC. So on day 6, I use it to boost this infantry from this airport here, so that this infantry can cap this city. This is a very calculated opening, which infantry goes where, etc, etc. And it won me a few matches. It is no longer viable because this map is no longer in the Global League. And the new version does not have pre-captured comp towers, which makes for completely different dynamics. But with this artillery, I can put this artillery into this forest next turn. And now I will be in a good position to start the capture. My opponent produces a lot of tanks. It's good that the controls are back now. I have quite a good income because of my opening. First I scout that forest. I see that there is nothing here. I transport this infantry to scout here. I see that there is also nothing here, so I can safely put my artillery in that forest. And now it's fully protected because you need 1 space to scout it and a 2nd space to attack from. And only 1 space is available. Here this infantry is a little bit reckless. It is spotted and attacked. And here I will trap one of my units to see this infantry. So one of those 3 infantry units is trapped, and now I attack with my artillery. I finish off with my another infantry, and I cap with my 3rd infantry. So those 3 infantry units were all necessary. The first one to get trapped and get vision, the second one to finish the artillery job, and the third one to start the capture. In the bottom, I responded with my tank to that tank attacking something on the comp tower, and this copter will attack but due to being Javier, this tank lived. And this is very, very important, because now I have vision, and I can kill this copter with my anti-air. So I do exactly that. I continue capping the com tower, and I use my artillery to attack the tank that was used to interrupt the capture. So I am living my best life here. Everything is going according to plan. I got some favorable engagements in the bottom, and I kept the com tower. And I am in my way to cap the second com tower. So this tank is not enough to kill my infantry, and this tank will just withstand so that nothing can kill this one boy that is doing all the work. And is it enough? Yes, it is enough. I currently have 2 com towers, and I have just enough charge for a power. So I kill this tank because it does not need a power to be killed, as well as this infantry, and then it's basically GG. There is very little that my opponent can do, so he resigns. This was an easy match because everything went according to plan. This copter engagement, this tank engagement on the bottom, and the engagements on the top. There is some uncertainty in the FOD matches, and all those uncertainties came in my favor in this match. But the next match I show you is not so easy. This is also Tornado Road. And this time I am playing as Cobalt Ice on the right. So the opening that I showed you is so good only when you are playing on the left side. If you play on the right side, a different opening is optimal in my opinion, without an APC. But the basics are similar. I still have to open with a tank, just to protect myself from early com tower shenanigans, which I intend to do, but I don't want them to be done to me. So I produce that tank, and I have just enough money for a mech. And this is strange, because there is no transport to transport that mech, but I calculated that it will arrive just in time when some action starts happening here. So I again prioritize income, and I cap the city first. And here I am not afraid to put my infantry next to a city because it is covered by a tank. So I slowly advance with the mech. I finished capping my airport, and I will build a transport soon. If I already have an airport, building a T-copter is better than building an APC. I won't have that fabulous boost here, but well, nothing is perfect, except the previous match, which went perfectly for me. So I again do the same trick here. I put the artillery and I surround it with infantry units from top and from the bottom. And I build a T-copter, yes, and I build a T-copter. And I interrupt this capture, and I interrupt it from here because I was expecting an artillery in that forest. So I thought, if there is an artillery here and I attack from here, my attack may go unpunished. Unfortunately for me, there is no artillery here, there is a tank that can attack me. So that didn't go so well. But now I can start my own capture, which is protected by the artillery, and the artillery is protected by this infantry and this mech here. And I will also produce a second mech to transport it with the T-copter, but probably not this turn, but next turn. In the meantime, I use the anti-air to kill that infantry and put my infantry on top, so that this comp tower won't be capped. So this infantry decided that it's better to damage my mech instead of killing this infantry, and I am all for it because a 5 HP mech can still be useful, as you will see later. But now my anti-air is getting damaged, and I don't oppose, because this 5 HP anti-air is still perfectly good in crippling copters, and it gave me charge. And getting charge before your first power without getting your units killed is huge, because you want to get your power first in a Drake mirror, and you want to keep your unit count high. Well, in a Drake mirror not necessarily so, but you want to keep your anti-air alive, so that you don't have to produce another one. So I continue capping, I join cap, I produce that wall that is not too strong, but maybe it will hold, let's see. My opponent spots the artillery, he kills my capping infantry, and the artillery gets damaged. So this attempt failed. Laurendox is quite a strong player. He again starts to cap his comp tower cap attempt. The game is now revolving around the comp towers, almost nothing happens in the middle. And now I produced a mech and I put it into the T-copter. I have to respond here, and I pop at Tsunami. I made some engagements so that I have just enough charge for a Tsunami, and with it I can weaken my enemy's counterattack. So, and get this kill and cripple this infantry. So, despite not playing Javier, I am still using Javier tactics to attack and make the retaliation unfavorable. So my opponent decides to wait for a typhoon, and it's understandable because it's a better power. I used Tsunami just to gain some tactical advantage. Capping with a mech has its advantages. Usually people will advise you not to cap with mechs because it's hard to join cap, but this 5 HP mech is perfect for join capping. So I clear off some damaged units and I get just enough to kill this infantry and put this tank on top and have a very good engagement against this tank. So I had to play a tactical Tsunami just to maintain the situation in my favor, but now my opponent will have enough power for a Typhoon, for a superpower, and it will hurt. Now my cap won't be finished, but my tank on the comp tower survives, and that's what matters. I will get 2 comp towers eventually. In this match, probably both of us were quite fixated on the comp towers, and I like those crazy matches because, well, maybe this strategy is not optimal, but it is fun to play. I get this juicy copter attack, and again I put something on the comp tower so that it won't get easily capped. I suspect an infantry here, but it's not here. This forest is quite important because scouting it makes you overextending a bit. so you have to guess what's in that forest. Now that 1 HP artillery that did quite a good job is hiding here, and I probably will join Cap this turn, yes, and 2 points left. This mech has to be reduced to 1 HP or below to prevent the capture. So this front is collapsing because this is my weak side. I have only 1 factory here and my opponent has 2. So I have very little units. But I will counter numbers with force. I get the com tower. Now I officially have 2 com towers and I produce a neo tank. Great minds think alike, and my opponent built a medium tank. So he also teched up in exactly the same moment, seeing that he is outnumbered here. So this situation is a bit mirrored, except I hold both com towers. And now the remnants of my army are cleared, and only this mech is left, but not for long. But I don't care. In the Drake Mirror late game, it is extremely hard to flip properties, because the powers are coming back and forth, and damaged infantry is less capable of capping. So now I decide to advance on the north. I got some favorable engagements, and I feel strong to go in this direction. Look, my opponent didn't even capture the city yet. Well, I also didn't, so now we are slowly shifting towards the middle. But this com tower is going to fall unless I do something about it. And oh, I will do something about it. I have enough for a typhoon, so of course I pop it. And it's enough for now. This APC is now transporting those infantry units back and forth, back and forth. It is extremely useful. And now the com tower cap is protected by 2 tanks. And my opponent produced a neo tank of his own to counter my neo tank. Quite a good idea, actually. And let's see what I do. This com tower also has now 2 points, so I have to reduce this infantry to 1 point or less. And I kill this tank, and 1 point. Exactly 1 point. Just enough to prevent this capture from completion. And this was possible only because I have 2 com towers. With 1 com towers, this was a guaranteed 2 HP. So the higher firepower already pays off. I also have quite a nice wall here, and my opponent will have problems with breaking that wall because he has reduced firepower. He has just vanilla 100% units. And now he of course continues capping with that 1 HP infantry, and now I only have the neo tank in range. To make matters worse, my opponent decides to pop a typhoon. He gets just enough charge for a typhoon, and with it my neo tank is reduced to 7 HP. And here I thought, this 7 HP neo tank stands no chance against this full HP neo tank. Repairing it is costly. This com tower has 1 point left. So what do? I count that there is nothing in that forest, and I zoom, sacrifice my 7 HP neo tank to kill this 1 HP infantry. You don't see a neo tank sacrificed to kill a 1 HP infantry every day. But I really wanted those 2 com towers. I join Cap here to get this city, and the situation on the top is looking good for me because my units are protected by this artillery. And on the bottom, this Neo-tank will die. I have only this tank, this 6 HP infantry, and this artillery far, far away. All those units are dying. This Neo-tank is dead. Now my opponent has a unit value advantage. He has income advantage. And in unit count we are almost equal. So the situation is not good for me, but now I can push on the top. I have quite high firepower, and I can kill his units. And now look, this anti-air is useless. So I produce a copter, and I move my artillery with hopes that it won't be spotted. Okay, it is spotted, but my opponent decides not to overextend. And the only thing that I could do was to counter with that copter. So if my opponent knew that I don't have any Neo-tank here, he probably would attack, and it would be a good decision, but he didn't know. This is the beauty of fog, that you can put this artillery unprotected, and your opponent thinks that for sure it has to be protected, but it is not. So I continue with this strategy of not covering my artillery in any way. I put the artillery in that forest to ensure that it can fire on this capping infantry. And I just pray that it won't be spotted. And I am getting close to my Typhoon, and I have quite a good push on the top. So I am capping this property, and with double com towers and with a superpower, I will be able to use this Neo-tank and this tank to kill this black boat. And then I will move this infantry to start capping the HQ. If only I can manage to maintain this com tower for one more turn. Now let's see if this is possible. So my opponent decides to kill this 2 HP infantry, and bam! The Neo-tank gets trapped by the artillery. And it's GG. My opponent resigned. You don't see a Neo-tank getting trapped by an artillery every day. I played quite a crazy match. I am very happy of that match. And this was very fun to play. I hope that it was also very fun to watch. And now for the last replay from Smacky Cup 2. The first two cheeses that I saw in the previous matches were not real cheese, because I did not sacrifice my economy. I just moved my transport in a way that capping that second com tower was viable. And here I will break my rule, and I will go totally crazy by producing a day 4 APC to get this com tower. I am playing against Sturm. I know that Sturm will spam early recons, and I hope that my opponent will send all his recons down. Because, well, what can be here? Nothing. There is no reason to send a recon here so early in the game. So I produce a day 4 APC and I make a mech. Sturm has reduced firepower, so this mech will stand a chance against a single recon. So I hope that there will be at most one recon in this top area. But to do that, I neglect my com tower, because if you count the spaces, this com tower is closer to my bases and it should be mine. But there is already a recon standing on top of it. So I won't get it easily. I have to rely on my cheese. This is not like those previous times where I had backup plans. This is an all or nothing strategy. And this recon is dangerously close to seeing through my plan. I don't know it, so I move this APC closer. Now this mech is in reach. I am happy to see that nothing is standing on that com tower. I am getting harassed here as expected. And by producing that day 4 APC, I had to delay my tanks. So this harassment went unpunished. So already I am paying the costs of my risky play. And now this recon here sees everything. And it's basically GG at this point, because there is another recon that can reach the com tower. Of course, I don't know that, so I start the cap, and now boom, oops, too bad. So I cover the mech with my APC, so that the recons will have to go around it. But this is not enough. I hope that this 1 HP infantry will scout something here, but it will die. And here goes double recon, crushing of my dreams. So my opponent played very well. He did not neglect this side. He had 3 recons here to damage my infantry and completely cripple my economy with this. Now this artillery will cover this com tower. My mech is already dead. And this recon with that insane Sturm movement can interrupt even this cap. And this recon will also go unpunished. So everything is crumbling now. Let's fast forward this match because it's now total annihilation. I tried to get something in the middle, but this tank got trapped. I've managed to free it, but I had to overextend a bit to do so. And now this cap attempt is thwarted. My opponent has control of the middle. He has control over the top and over the bottom. I am fighting a bit more. The first meteor was baited, so it didn't do much damage. But now I am fighting against a large army, and the odds are really against me. I have nothing to do, and the second meteor sealed my fate. So the lesson is, you don't always have to go for an all-for-nothing cheese. Make your cheesy strategy profitable even if something goes wrong. Don't neglect your economy. And you can still get something that will surprise your opponent and get you that sweet second com tower for a few turns. And then don't hold it forever, retreat and use your advantage to win. I hope that it helped some of you and was fun to watch. Until the next time, bye.